One of the tasks of the Ukrainian military in Belgorod region of Russia is to create a safety zone near the Ukrainian border. This opinion was expressed by military expert Roman Svitan on the air of 24 Kanal. According to him, the Russian territory that Ukrainian armed forces are taking control of should become a buffer zone similar to the one created in Kursk region of Russia. By advancing a few kilometers into the Belgorod region, we can improve our defensive position. It's better to create a buffer zone on Russian territory, the expert emphasized. In his opinion, the Ukrainian armed forces could expand their presence not only in Kursk and Belgorod regions, but also carry out operations in a third direction, in Bryansk region, towards Klintsy and the Druzhba oil pipeline. Russian media says that in 50 kilometers from the border with the Bryansk region, there is an accumulation of military and equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine. Recall November the 19th, 2024. Units of the Ukrainian armed forces, in coordination with other components of the defense forces, delivered a fire strike on the arsenal of the 1406th Center for Material Technical Support, Kharkiv, in Russia's Bryansk region. Andriy Kovalenko, head of the Center for Countering Disinformation under Ukraine's National Security and Defense Council, noted that the depot stored artillery ammunition, including North Korean shells, guided aerial bombs, anti-aircraft missiles, and rockets for multiple launch rocket systems. On October the 9th, this arsenal in the Bryansk region was attacked by drones, which the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine officially confirmed. The operation was carried out by units of the Unmanned Systems Forces of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in cooperation with other components of the defense forces. Ammunition for rocket and artillery weapons, including those from the DPRK, as well as guided aerial bombs, were stored on the territory of the warehouse. Much of it was stored in the open. Explosions were recorded on the facility's territory during the attack. Afterward, local authorities closed roads in the area of the arsenal. Currently, the Bryansk region of Russia is not seriously defended, which creates favorable conditions for the Ukrainian army to attack. Ukraine has not yet received the Saab 340 AEW&C or ACS-890 airborne early warning aircraft promised by Sweden, but this may happen soon. As the Swedes explained, there is no delay with this. Everything is on schedule. Ukraine will receive AWACS aircraft after the Ukrainian Air Force acquires a modification of F-16 fighters capable of interacting with them. The problem is that the fighters transferred to Kyiv turned out to be so old that some of the aircraft had to be modernized. But for now, the Ukrainian armed forces do not have modernized fighters, which means there is nothing to transfer. At the same time, the Swedes emphasized that for security reasons, they will not advertise the transfer of aircraft to Ukraine. The delivery dates for the ACS-A90 are linked to when certain modifications of the F-16 fighters are ready. There are no delays in the delivery of the AWACS aircraft to Ukraine, the Swedish Ministry of Defense stated. As previously reported, the Swedes promised Zelenski 2 Saab 340 AEW&C airborne early warning aircraft back in May last year. They were included in the latest military aid package for the Kiev junta. Sweden also promised to train Ukrainian pilots, onboard equipment operators, and maintenance personnel. Kyiv is eagerly awaiting the arrival of AWACS aircraft, planning to use them to improve the level of aerial reconnaissance and combat control of fighters. The E-3 Sentry is an airborne warning and control system, or AWACS, aircraft with an integrated command and control battle management, or C2BM surveillance, target detection and tracking platform. The aircraft provides an accurate real-time picture of the battle space to the Joint Air Operations Center. AWACS provides situational awareness of friendly, neutral and hostile activity, command and control of an area of responsibility, battle management of theatre forces, all altitude and all-weather surveillance of the battle space, and early warning of enemy actions during joint, allied and coalition operations. The radar and computer subsystems on the E3 Sentry can gather and present broad and detailed battlefield information. This includes position and tracking information on enemy aircraft and ships, and location and status of friendly aircraft and naval vessels. The information can be sent to major command and control centers in rear areas or aboard ships. In time of crisis, this data can also be forwarded to the President and Secretary of Defense. In support of air-to-ground operations, the AWACS can provide direct information needed for interdiction, reconnaissance, and close air support for friendly ground forces. It can also provide information for commanders of air operations to gain and maintain control of the air battle. With its mobility as an airborne warning and control system, the Sentry has a greater chance of surviving in warfare than a fixed, ground-based radar system. Among other things, the Sentry's flight path can quickly be changed according to mission and survival requirements. AWACS can fly a mission profile approximately 8 hours without refueling. Its range and on-station time can be increased through in-flight refueling and the use of an onboard crew rest area. Italy is developing its own production of kamikaze drones. In particular, they have currently developed drones with the working names Mini and Small, around which the Italians maintain a certain degree of secrecy. At the same time, they hint that these products, which have already been tested during the Italian Army's exercises, may be supplied to Ukraine. Details about the new drones were collected by the military portal Defense Express. Italy has joined the list of countries that have their own competence in the production of kamikaze drones. And we are talking about drones under the designations Mini and Small, which the Italians themselves are trying to maintain a certain secrecy about, and at the same time are already hinting that these products can be supplied to Ukraine. The mentioned drones have already undergone a run-in during the regular exercises of the Italian army. That is, we are talking about completely working solutions, the material states. At the same time, writes Defense Express, it looks quite unusual that many Italian defense companies were involved in the production of the mentioned drones. Thus, according to the European Defense Review portal, the Mini and Small were developed by MBDA Italia. It worked on those drones in cooperation with 2 other companies specializing in unmanned technologies, Cirolab and Sky Eyes Systems. And the warheads for both drones were created by KNDS Ammo Italy. The running-in of both of the above-mentioned kamikaze drones took place during the Vulp Bianca 2025 exercises of the Italian mountain units, which involved, in particular, servicemen of the 3rd Alpine Regiment and the 9th Cybersecurity Regiment, the portal adds. It is currently known that the Mini is a quadcopter drone with a launch weight of 2 kilograms and a warhead weighing 0.5 kilograms. The range of this UAV is up to 5 kilometers. It can spend up to 40 minutes in the air. The main purpose is to be used in an urban environment. The second drone, Small, is a classic kamikaze drone of the aircraft type with a takeoff weight of 8 kilograms and a warhead of 1.5 kilograms, a flight duration of up to 40 minutes, a flight range of up to 15 kilometers. It is intended for use in open spaces. Both Small and Mini drones have obvious differences, but they also have common design elements, including a launch tube and an optoelectronic guidance system. The cost of both UAVs and how quickly and in what quantities the Italians will be able to produce them for both their own troops and those of their allies, in particular the defense forces, remain a mystery.